you've all had a wonderful day, and I hope you're excited about today's video. It is makeup related and specifically foundation. I'm going to be doing a first impressions review on the Almay Age Essentials makeup. This is a drugstore foundation, which means that it's going to be affordable for you guys. If you're on a budget, this is great for you. I haven't tested it out yet, but essentially what we're going to do in this video is chat about the product. And I'm also going to try it on my face, tell you what I think about it, give you my first impressions, and do a few check-ins throughout the day. It is really late in the day. I usually do this early in the morning, but it's 12 to 1 right now. I do have quite a busy day. I'm going to take some photos, even though it's kind of really crazy outside. So before we get into trying this foundation, it comes in 9 shades, which isn't a lot, so it doesn't vary too far into the dark shade range. So if you are on the lighter spectrum, you'll totally be able to find something, but on the darker side, probably not. So it has SPF 15, has hyaluronic acid in it, and collagen peptides. So it's supposed to smooth out the skin, make you look more hydrated, and also kind of blur any fine lines that you have. I'm 25, almost 25, so I don't really have fine lines, and I think it's about time that I stop talking and just show you guys what this foundation looks like. I have this in the shade 120 Light Warm. I bought it online, so I have no idea if this is going to be the right shade for me. I already have my kind of moisturizer and primer on. I use the Smashbox Primerizer, which is a moisturizer and a primer put together. This is a little bit light for me, but we'll go with it. We'll just kind of see how it goes. So it's kind of fluid. So I am going to use a paddle foundation brush. Apparently, I think I'm more pale than I am. There's no heavy scent. Maybe I'm just not smelling it, but most drugstore foundations have quite a heavy fragrance, and I'm not getting any sort of fragrance from this. It kind of smells like nothing actually. That's a good start. Okay, so this obviously is not the right shade for me, but we can kind of look over that for now. I do have a little bit of redness on my cheeks and generally around my face. I'm feeling a bit warm today as well. And my skin type is dry, normal to dry, but I do add quite a lot of hydrating product, so I'm not expecting this to do much on the hydrating front, but I'm expecting to see a glow. I'm expecting to see like kind of a natural, beautiful, almost perfected finish. Not a full coverage. I'm expecting kind of like solid medium coverage. Let's see how we get on with it. So now I've just done my second pump. As you guys know, I'm into my light medium coverage foundation, so I'm not expecting anything full coverage. So I'm wanting something that I can wear day to day, and I'm not going to have to touch it up throughout the day. I'm not going to feel like it's moving around or it's caking up. I don't want anything that's full coverage or looks like heavy foundation on my skin, so I'm hoping that this will be a good option. This is for days where I want a little bit more coverage than usual, because on a normal day I kind of just wear like a BB cream. This is, whoa, this is very light. So aside from the color, which we can tell is obviously pretty light for my skin tone, I should never buy foundations online, I know this by now. I really like the coverage that it gives. This is definitely more of a full coverage day for me, where I want to cover up blemishes or even dark spots. I had treatment done the other day, and there is a spot over here that's gotten really dark. It is going to fade, but this is doing quite a good job of actually covering that up. Like, it's really obvious when there's no foundation on my face. Like, it's very, very obvious. It's done a pretty good job of covering up my red cheeks. I'm actually really impressed with that, because most foundations that I use don't really tend to get that right. I am still seeing a lot of luminosity and glow coming through, especially like over there on my cheekbones, generally kind of around my nose as well, where I would tend to set that just because it looks a bit sweaty. When it's around your nose, that it's quite glowing. Overall, I quite like the coverage. I can still see my freckles on the bridge of my nose. I think that it's definitely light to medium. You can build it up to medium. You can do a solid medium coverage with this. I like the glow and the general luminosity that I'm getting with this foundation. We will see how it fits with other products, how other products can lay over the top of this. Okay, so I'm going to go and apply the rest of my makeup over the top of this, and then I'm going to come back and tell you how everything applied and if I'm happy with it. And then we'll do a few check-ins throughout the day. I'm going to keep my makeup on for a little bit longer than I usually would. So this is the kind of makeup look I've gone for. It's very like purpley on the eyes and then a little bit pink on the lips. Very different to what I usually like, but I'm enjoying it. And I found that everything layered really nicely over the top of this foundation. I've got like bronzer, highlighter, blush, everything just blends really well together. It doesn't look like there's layer upon layer, so that's really good. I generally like where my skin looks right now. The bronzer and kind of overall look has definitely made a difference to the way I feel about this foundation, because obviously when I look at it, just foundation, nothing else on my face, it looks very kind of stark. But looking at it right now, I really like this. It's covered up a lot of things on my face. Like, I didn't do any concealer anywhere other than underneath my eyes, and the only places that I've set is underneath my eyes and then on the sides of my nose over here. So just like that. I only have like powder products over the top, but there's no setting powder or translucent powder. There's nothing like that on the rest of my face. I did have a little pimple over here, like just a little bit of a red spot. It's not a full-blown like rager, and I can see it through the foundation, but I'm pretty sure that you guys can't see it from there. It's basically just because I have just inspected my face with the magnifying mirror. So I could see that this dark spot over here from the treatment that I just had is there, but it kind of just looks, it doesn't look bad. Like really, it wouldn't be that obvious to you guys in person. And overall, I like the foundation so far. I'm going to carry on with my day and I will do regular check-ins. I'm going to be doing it with my vlog camera, so I will actually show you guys up close what this looks like on my skin, around my nose, see if it breaks up at all, see if it gets more oily throughout the day, or if it just starts to look very glowing and hydrated and luminous and kind of just like young skin basically. I think that's what's going to happen with this foundation, but let's see, and I will check in with you guys in a little bit. It is now 10 to 2. I did take a little while to do my makeup. I just kind of like sat and chilled and watched videos and stuff. So yeah, it is 10 to 2. We will see what happens throughout the day. My next check-in will probably be in about an hour, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know I look like a bit of a school teacher or a matron with this hair, but it's the only way to get out of my face while I work without having to tie it up and like ruin the lack of curls that I now have. They're literally all gone. So I thought I would do a check-in. It is now 20 to 4, so like 2 hours later. Almost 2 hours, and everything is still looking really good. See, why do I have a random piece of glitter on my face? Like, where is that glitter coming from? Sean had a piece of glitter on his face the other day as well. I don't know. So this is pretty much what my face is looking like overall, and then up close it's still looking really good. One thing I did notice is that it kind of collects a little bit on the side of my nose there, but it really does happen with every foundation I wear because the type of bloody nose that I have. But the highlight is still there, bronze is still there, nothing is breaking up, everything still looks really pretty. I'm liking the kind of extra glow that I'm getting throughout the day, well now. I may need to touch up probably on my chin if we get later on into the day, probably around like 6 o'clock. I may need to touch up on my chin, but I'll let you guys know before I do. But for the most part, I'm really enjoying the way my face looks, and I feel like everything is kind of settled in a little bit better. It's not like on top of my skin, it's just blended really nicely together. And I just generally, I like this look. What do you guys think? Let me know. And also, has it oxidized slightly? Like, is it more my shade? Because it actually looks normal now. Even I took a photo earlier and it looked perfectly fine. So maybe this foundation does oxidize, but it takes a while too. I don't know, but I like it. I really like it actually. You can hardly tell that that's like the wrong shade. I'll check in a little bit. I still need to write a blog post and have some tea. 4:45, 10 to 6 now, and Alsha and Isabella just left. Isabella's so sweet. I got to play with baby Isabella, and it was just really lovely. We had tea and we had chocolate bark, which is over there on the table. I will get a recipe for you guys very soon. Back to the foundation. I think it still looks really good. Like, I think it's, like I said, I feel like it looks good. Like, the color has kind of gotten a little bit better. It's warmed up a little bit more. I feel like being on my skin for a couple of hours has actually made it settle in really nicely. It hasn't gotten like more oily or more glowy in any areas. I still feel like it looks as good as it did when I first applied it. The only thing is, and it has nothing to do with the foundation, is that my mascara is kind of transferred underneath my eyes over here. And my dark circles are coming through quite a bit, so that speaks more about the concealer than the foundation. For the most part, actually, there's no reason why I don't like this. I'm really enjoying it. The bronzer is still staying. I didn't use any setting sprays or anything like that, so this is the foundation without any setting sprays. I did use a primer because I would do that with any foundation, and I'm really happy with it. The bronzer is kind of just faded a bit on my forehead, but other than that, everything has pretty much stuck around. You can still see the bronzer, you can still see the highlighter, you can still see my blush a little bit. So sometimes foundation settles into this kind of like line that I have in my nose over here, and it hasn't done that, so that's a definite good sign. I'm really enjoying this foundation, and I'm going to keep it on. I like this highlighter. I'm going to keep it on for a couple more hours. Sean isn't even home yet, so I'm going to go back to my computer and finish up a blog post, and then I'll check in with you guys probably at about 8 o'clock, and then I'm going to take off this face of makeup. So this is the final check-in for the night, because it is 8:10 and we finished our dinner. Well, we finished making our dinner, and we're going to sit down and chill. I want to take off my face for the night. I'm really happy with how this foundation is faded for the day. It's technically been on for 7 hours, and I think it's done really well. It is only faded on my chin. You can see there's like a little bit of redness coming through over there, and everything else still looks really good. I was expecting it to look like overly glowy by the end of the day, kind of like in between my brows, around my nose over there where it looks a little bit sweaty, like you can see that it's sweaty when it's around your nose, even on my chin. But I'm really happy with the way that this is kind of developed throughout the day. I really like it. My bronze is still there, my highlight's still there, my blush is kind of worn off, but that's to be expected. And the only thing is that it's worn through on my chin, which does usually happen. But yeah, all in all, I would definitely give this foundation a thumbs up. And if you guys are on a budget and you're looking for a good kind of dewy finish foundation, long lasting, beautiful on the skin, medium coverage, then this Almay one is for you. And if you enjoyed this, then please give it a thumbs up, and also leave me a comment down below if you've tried this foundation. If you want to try it, give me feedback on the video in general. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you do, because I am doing Vlogtober, which means I'm doing 4 videos a week, and there are also more blog posts on my blog, so go check that out as well, and check out my social media, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.